Alright folks, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Sure it is good to see you. Hope we're all having a good week. We're into the round of 16 over in the Monte Carlo Masters. Got 8 of the best in store for us today. We'll waste no time in getting into those. Before we do, like the video if you would. Get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not. I'd appreciate it if you did. If you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment, along with the pics and the timestamps and the outrights and pretty much anything else that you'll need. First things first, another day, another dollar for me personally. I had 2 today, managed to get both of them. Very pleased with that. I had Daniel Altmaier and Casper Ruud on a double, and I also took Yuri Lehechka plus the 2.5 games. Easy as you like. Sound. Let me know, get yourself involved. Did you win? Did you lose? Did you come close? Share with the group. Don't be shy. Right then. Very well, folks. It's not getting any easier. The deeper we get into this tournament, we've got some absolute crackers in store for us today. First off, we've got Andrei Rublev and Artefis. And now these have played each other once before. That was at the start of last season over in Hong Kong on the hard court. A fairly close game, not close sets, but a close match nonetheless. 2-1 for Rublev, 6-1. Artefis took the second set, 6-4, sorry. Artefis took the second set, 6-1. And then Andrei Rublev come back and took the third, 6-2. So yeah, quite all over the place. I expect nothing less from these two, if I'm being honest. Artefis continues to impress, does he not? Looks solid against Talon Griekspoor, and he made it look even easier against Flavio Cobolli last time out. Now you could make the argument that the pair of those players are just, they are coming off a final each, aren't they? Flavio Cobolli obviously winning one. So maybe a little bit of fatigue has come into play there, I'm not too sure. Andrei Rublev, I thought he looked alright. He looked fairly decent against Gael Monfils. I somewhat expected it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of expected Andrei Rublev to get that one done. Don't get me wrong. The way he's been playing ever since Doha, not even since that, pretty much all season, it was always going to be a lot tougher. Well, you'd expect it to be a lot tougher than what he made it out. But no, fairly sound win. Very happy with that. Operated at a fairly high level as well. You've got to give it to him. Can we trust him? Absolutely not. Well, I can't anyway. He's in a weird spot at the moment, Rublev. It seems like if you go against him, he'll probably win. If you bet on him, he'll just shit the bed. So I've been staying away pretty much ever since Doha. He was very shaky leading up to that tournament. He was fantastic in it, the best of the lot. And then he's had 4 losses, 2 wins. One of the wins coming just to Monfils, well, yesterday, whatever, you know what I mean. I think he might struggle. It's all well and good sitting here saying if the version of Rublev that played Gael Monfils today turns up against Artefis, he stands a perfect chance at winning this. But we just can't trust them to. We really can't trust them to. On the day, realistically, Andrei Rublev still is a better player than Artefis, there's no doubt about that. I've just seen a lot more from Artefis. Well, maybe not a lot more from him this season, but what I have seen, I've been a lot more impressed with. Even still, taking Doha out of it, I have seen nothing from Andrei Rublev so far to suggest that he's going to go out there and just walk this one against Artefis. I would imagine Artefis is good for a set. Odds are split right down the middle. Either one for a set. Question time. If either one of these is going to win in straight sets, who's it going to be? You let me know. I'd be looking at Artefis for a set. It's a nice little parlay piece. You shouldn't be able to go wrong with that. But we'll move on to Jack Draper. Davidovich Fokina. I'll be going with Jack Draper on this one, I think. Yeah, he played very good against Marcus Giron. I mean, what did he do to him? What did he do to Marcus Giron? 6-1, 6-1. Yeah, that's it. That's nuts. That's crazy. That was some beatdown, to say the least. Davidovich Fokina managed to get it done against Echeverry in straight sets. Beat Ben Shelton the game before that as well. I mean, done well to come back against Ben Shelton, but I feel like once he had him where he wanted them, it was smooth sailing from there on for Davidovich Fokina. Echeverry could have potentially have been a trap spot for this guy. We know that Echeverry's very good on the clay, but realistically, we said it yesterday and we'll say it again, he just hasn't been cutting it. He just hasn't been doing it for me this year as the Argentine, so I don't know how much weight that one holds. Jack Draper just fucking battered Marcus Giron. He did. I think he's better than Davidovich Fokina. I mean, you know me. You don't need me to sit here and tell you what I'm going to go for on this one. You don't really need me to harp on about it either. Look, could be a tough one. I imagine Davidovich Fokina is going to show a lot more resistance than what Marcus Giron did. I would assume anyway. We've seen a couple times this season Davidovich Fokina look pretty much all but defeated, and just when you think he's done, he slowly starts to creep his way back in. Is he going to get a chance to do that against Jack Draper? I think not. And what's crazy here as well, like I took Jack Draper against Marcus Giron around 1.25, 1.3, I think it was 1.3. I was fairly confident in that. Getting him at 1.45, 1.5 against Davidovich Fokina. These have never played each other before. Like I said to you, didn't I? We haven't really seen much over the seasons of Jack Draper on the clay, but you just had to assume that he had made some sort of an improvement. And I'd like to think he has. Maybe that was a one-off. Maybe that was a flash in the pan. We will most definitely see today against Davidovich Fokina. It will not be easy, but I would imagine he has got more than enough to get this one done. Now, if I'm going for a parlay today, I'm most definitely sticking Jack Draper on it, folks. You let me know what you're doing on that. And we'll crack on to Daniel Altmaier, Carlos Alcaraz. This should be quick. Now, I was very happy with Daniel Altmaier today. Got that one done against Richard Gasquet. Now, there was moments, especially after that second set out here, I was quite concerned to say the least. Funnily enough, the longer that match went on, especially in the second set, Richard Gasquet just got better. I don't know whether he got better or Daniel Altmaier just took his foot off the gas. I'd like to take the latter. I don't think it matters. I don't think he's going to beat Carlos Alcaraz. Played each other once before, 5 years ago, so it's quite irrelevant. 10-1 underdog, 9-1, 8-1. That's a fucking massive dog. Spread prices in it. I always say if you can get like 5.5, fuck, even 6.5, you'll get a better price at 6.5, a full set worth of games, than what you will for Carlos Alcaraz on the money line, 1.06. That probably tells you all you need to know. Say he looked a little bit ropey in that first set against Cerundolo, but then, I don't know, talk about poking the beehive, what the fuck did he do to him? That was nuts. Dropped that first set and it only took him 50 minutes, not even an hour, to just dust him aside. Unbelievable. One hell of a performance. Got to give it to him. Although Altmaier got past Richard Gasquet, and like I said, I was pleased with it. I was far from happy with it at the time while I was watching it, but then as soon as the third set came, I knew we had him. I don't think he stands a chance. Whether he covers the spread or not, potentially, perhaps, you're going to get a fantastic price for a very, very big spread on Daniel Altmaier. So, food for thought. I don't imagine he gets past Alcaraz. He'll be too much. We've got Alexei Popko, Casper Ruud. Once again, Ruud got it done for me today. I was never in doubt with that one. I know there's no certainties. There's no such thing as a certain lock over here in the tennis, but that's probably as close as you were getting to one today, in my opinion. Casper Ruud, the fucking sky was going to have to fall in order for him to get beat by Batista Agut. What a performance as well. What a performance. Absolutely beasted him. 6-2, 6-1. Good stuff. Great stuff. That's just another win for Casper Ruud this year. 13-4 on the season. Very good. Very, very good. He was fantastic over on the hard court, so I imagine, it's safe to assume we could expect more of the same over here on the clay. But with that being said, I mean, Alexei Popyrin, man, got to give it to him. Alexei Popyrin, the guy who's been struggling all year, 2-0. 2-0 on the clay. Not bad. Not bad at all. 4-7 on the season. You know, he's still not in form yet. Had a very, very tough game. He's dropped the first set in both of these as well. He come back and beat Hugo Humbert. Not much of a clay player, and he's just come back and beat Francis Tiafoe there. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is exactly what Alexei Popyrin has needed, if you'd ask me. Albeit the wins may not be the flashiest or the most convincing, but when you've been struggling as much as this lad has, it doesn't matter how you get it done. You just want to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I don't think he's going to beat Casper Ruud. I don't. These courts really, really suit Casper Ruud. He's looking like a flyer to go through to the final as well, if you want my opinion. 1.25, 1.3 for Casper Ruud there. Steep, once again. Fairly similar to what it was in the first game against Batista Agut. These have just played each other. The head-to-head is 1-0, and it was 4 days ago in the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. Casper Ruud beat him 3-0 over on the hard court. I imagine he's got more than enough to get past Alexei Popyrin in Monte Carlo. I'd be willing to bet that he does. It's a bit of a rough one, because you could look at this and you go, well, Popyrin is visibly, he started winning, he started playing better, he's discovered something. I don't think he's got the minerals to get this one done. I don't. He's got a decent forehand, it translates well to the clay when he can get it firing, but will he be able to wrap himself around that serve? If Casper Ruud's just going to play Alexei Popyrin on his second serve, I think it's done in straight sets. I really do. I might just take Casper Ruud on the parlay. I'm very, very tempted. I don't know. He's only played the one game as opposed to the two for Popyrin, so, statistics-wise, maybe it's not that fair to compare the two, but I think Casper Ruud played a lot better against Batista Agut than what Popyrin did against Tiafoe and Humbert. Like I said, he dropped the first set in both of them. What are the odds? First set will be crucial in this one, as it always is, but even more so in this spot here. What are the odds if Alexei Popyrin drops that first set to Casper Ruud? He's going to mount yet another comeback for the third time in a row on the clay. Seems highly unlikely, does it not? I don't know. I think Casper Ruud is going to be very, very hard to beat. I quite fancy it, I quite fancy it. 1.3. I don't know if I can say no to that. I don't know. I can resist anything but temptation. We'll circle back to that one. And then we've got Matteo Berrettini, Lorenzo Musetti. I'd love to be able to tell you what's going to happen in this one, but I don't think anyone does. This will be a very, very close game. Very entertaining, mind you, but this could easily go either way. You get Matteo Berrettini, 1.7. I like that. If you were taking him, I like that, I really do. You could probably say Berrettini, you've been a little bit more impressed with him, On paper, you could say he's definitely defeated the better players. I don't know what's happening outside. Can you hear that? There's like all sorts of fucking madness going on. I do apologise if it's picking that up. Berrettini looked fantastic against Novone, and he looked fantastic against Zverev as well. He really did. Now Musetti has just had to come back from a set down against Boo and from a set down against Lehechka. I thought it was curtains. I thought Yuri Lehechka had him right in the palm of his hand, but what happened, and he managed to come back and win that one. Great stuff from the Italian there. See what you do in this one, because they're both Italian. Who's the crowd going to support? They're just going to be going fucking nuts and nearly like destroying me speakers every time they cheer after a point. Oh, it does my head in that. Not the fact that they cheer, just the fact that the audio quality like absolutely hammers the fucking speakers or the microphones over there, and it just rattles through the fucking TV. If Berrettini just comes and plays exactly how he did against Zverev, he'll win this. I know it's not as easy as that, but we know Musetti's good on the clay. Everyone's been going on about it. You know, Musetti on the clay, Musetti on the clay. Berrettini's good on the clay, if not just as good. Maybe a little bit more impressive. I don't know. Like I said yesterday, he was fucking unreal last year. Unbelievable. 15-1 last year. He's already went 2-0 to start the season. Musetti's went 3-0. I just think if you can beat Zverev, you can. Do you think Musetti would have beat Zverev? I know it's possible, but I don't know if I would have been sitting here on the video going, oh, you know what, Musetti's an absolute shout. I still would have fancied Zverev in that one. Whereas we did know that Berrettini was going to be a nightmare for Alexander Zverev. I'd go with Berrettini, I think. I do. I agree with this one. 1.7. It's a slight favourite, and I would just lean towards him ever so slightly. Parlay piece. Take him for a set. I would be very surprised if Lorenzo Musetti comes out here and gets fucking drilled in straight sets. So you could probably take him for 1-2. You know, you pay your money, you take your choice. We'll move on to Nuno Borges, Stefanos Tsitsipas. Be a good game this. This will be a good one. They've played each other just the once back in Rome 2 years ago. 6-3, 6-3 for Tsitsipas in that one. Bookies have got him around 1.3. Now that's a massive favourite. That is a massive favourite. I mean, alright, we knew he was going to beat Jordan Thompson. It wasn't easy. He dropped that first set, but maybe that was just a little bit of, a little bit of a warm-up, a little bit of a sorbet for the palate for Tsitsipas, and then he most definitely came into his own. In the second and third, Nuno Borges, obviously, he played against Holger Rune, took that first set, and then he retired after that. But it's come to my attention, Holger Rune may or may not have been dealing with a certain injury. If that's the case, then how much of that we can take, I'm not too sure. But then against Pedro Martinez, he looked like he was done. It looked like he was done. It looked like Martinez was once again just going to pull it back and scrape his way to a win. But no, not today. Not today, not against Nuno. Fantastic. Really good stuff. He played a good game. Nuno Borges, I keep saying it, he's good on the clay. He's deceivingly good on the clay. He really is. I don't think he's as good as Tsitsipas, if I'm being honest. Look, I think Tsitsipas wins this. I hope he wins it, because I've still got him on an outright. I do think he will win, regardless. 1.3 is a solid parlay piece. Personally, I think that is just a little bit too steep for the level of uncertainty that I'm currently at for this match. One thing I will say before we crack on, spread's going to be around, 3.5, 4.5, something like that. 3.5, 4.5. Jordan Thompson would have covered that. If you can get it at 4.5, you'll probably get a better price than taking Tsitsipas on the money line anyway. Nuno Borges plus that 4.5. If Jordan Thompson can cover it, I'd be willing to bet Nuno Borges can too. I don't know. I'm just saying. Tsitsipas could just come out here and wipe the floor with him in straight sets though. So 1.3 is probably an ideal little parlay piece. Like I said, a little bit steep, but he should get it done. Who have we got next? We've got Tabilo, Dimitrov. You know what's going to happen in this one, don't you? You know, if history is anything to go off, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. Now, if you're sitting there and you're one of the people that are going, oh yeah, look at that Dimitrov, 1.5, I've got to have it, I've got to take it. I was once you. And you know what, I probably would take it myself even now. But I've learnt my lesson with this matchup. I've most definitely taken Dimitrov against Tabilo both times last year. First off in Miami, and then second in the Lever Cup. Fucking stress. Absolute stress if you've got cash on these matches. They've played each other twice, both of them coming last year on the hard court. 4 tiebreakers. 4 tiebreakers. That's not very Dimitrovish, is it? You know what I mean? You don't really see him play that many. Miami, tiebreaker to Tabilo, then a tiebreaker to Dimitrov, and then 6-2 in the third. And then Lever Cup, tiebreaker in the first, tiebreaker in the second. Both of them going to Dimitrov. It's going to be more of the same. I know it is. Dimitrov looked like he was struggling a little bit against Vachereau today. He dropped the set, managed to come back and just pummeled him into the fucking sand. What did Tabilo do to Djokovic? We said, didn't we? We called it. We said, Djokovic, my 1.15 as a favourite. What is going on? What is going on with that? Tabilo absolutely smoked him as well. We said, didn't we? He is just the type of guy to give Djokovic trouble as he's done last time. And look what happened. Look what happened. He made it look dead easy. Look, I mean, the formula for this is it stands for pretty much anyone. You'd usually say, if you've just beat Djokovic like that, I'd imagine you're good to beat pretty much anyone else. But I don't know, I wouldn't be so certain. Dimitrov, although it has been anything but easy in the past, he has just had more than enough to get it done. He's playing just as good. Well, he's playing a lot better than Tabilo. Tabilo's went 4-9 on the season, 2-4 on the clay. Dimitrov started 2-0, 11-6 on the year. A lot more trustworthy. He's a better player. Will he be able to hang in there if this one starts dragging out a little bit? Starts going over like 2 hours and whatnot. Is this going to be an absolute slogfest potentially? Could Tabilo take a set off Dimitrov? Well, he's just took 2 off Djokovic dead easy, so you wouldn't put it past him, right? I'd love to take Dimitrov at 1.5, but I do not fancy sitting there stressing out watching this game. I don't. I say this, it might come to the day and then Dimitrov just annihilates him. We don't know. It shall remain to be seen. But I would still be leaning with Dimitrov in that one. And then wrapping us up dead quick, there's no odds for it because it's only just finished, but Daniel Medvedev just beat Alexander Muller, so that means he's going to be playing the Demon in the last match of the round of 16. Who's going to win that? I don't know. Medvedev's just been doing enough. I think Medvedev's been doing just enough to get past most this week. I fear Alex de Minaur might just be a little bit too much for him, He won't be able to hit through him. I said that about Alexander Muller. You're going to struggle to hit through Daniel Medvedev on these clay courts, especially this one in Monte-Carlo. Fitness is the name of the game. Wherever the Demon's involved, fitness. You're not going to outpace him. You're not going to outmaneuver him. Stop him. You can only hope to contain him. I don't know what the odds are going to be. I was going to say, who do you think is going to be the favourite? But by the time this comes out, I imagine there's already going to be a price. But I'll just guess anyway. I'd say it's going to be very close. I'd say it's going to be around 1 point. Let's say very close. It may not be. I'm calling 1.7 for Daniel Medvedev. And I'm very, very tempted to take Alex de Minaur. But I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, folks. Couple more night shifts for me. But don't worry about it. It's not going to interfere in what we're doing over on the channel. Very well then. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure doing business with you. Take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. And you take it easy. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Currently on 840. Very, very happy with that. We're plodding along nicely over to 900, and before we know it, we'll be at 1,000, and then 10,000, and then 100, and then sky's the fucking limit, innit? We do it right over here. We do well all year round. Get yourself involved. Thanks for watching. Just go get that cash, yeah? Don't know what I'm going for, but it will be pinned, as always. Enjoy the Masters, and I'll see you tomorrow.